Okay, this is March 17th, 2021 here in Kitchener, Ontario, Zone 5. And I'm here in my yard doing a survey of the yard. Things are thawing out, so I'm just doing a little bit of chores, taking a look under the polytunnels, taking a look at this winter sowing experiment. We can start right here. As I pan over these bottles, I really see nothing coming up in any of them. It's still early, I guess, so nothing really to report there. Moving on from that, we've got these low tunnels. I've taken the first layer of plastic off of here. We can take a look and see how things are doing. I'm going to pull out all this, all these plastic sheeting, these cloches. Let's start pulling all that material out of here. Take these cloches out. Actually, let's leave them in just to see, what did what under what. Okay, so to start, we'll leave the cloches on. So these were cauliflowers and broccolis, and they look really killed, really bleached, really bad. Now through February was very cold. Just sustained below 10 Celsius the whole time, basically. So things got really rocked. Clear away some of that's somewhat green down there. I think there is probably still living tissue in there, but this one looks very killed. This one looks very killed. I'm gonna leave. We've got it's gonna be no freezing weather for a couple days, the forecast is calling for, so I'm gonna leave these open, let the spring weather get in here, let these things respond maybe to whatever the ambient temperatures are. So all of these broccolis and cauliflowers are pretty much toasted, although new growth at the bottom. This unprotected one's kind of snapping as I'm manipulating it there, but if I take this cloche off, well, that's pretty dead right there, but that's alive, so that's coming back. Let's move back here. Now, I'm pretty disappointed by the look of this sage plant. That might be a dead sage plant. Not too happy with that, or maybe it'll come back. Maybe the roots are good in there, but that one does not look great. These are cutting. I literally just took cuttings of, I guess these look like a red Russian, or maybe they're a red Ursa kale, and I just shoved them into the wet soil here back in, maybe it was November, maybe it was October, and that looks alive. So I don't know if it has rooted or not. I'm not going to disturb it too much, but that looks alive. These ones, just by the feel of them, they're very dry. They feel pretty dead. Looks like I've got some garlic coming up in here. Garlic, a bunch of garlic coming up in there, so that's cool. Looks like, what are we? We're at 4 minutes here. It looks like this is going to be kind of a long video. I'll do a pretty thorough tour of this. So moving back through, these plants back here none of them were under domes. There was just that sheet of plastic. This sheet of plastic was just draped across the front here, just to try and protect them from the blast of the wind as this top cover gets blown open by the wind. And looking back at them, that is probably, well, that might come back. That's a kohlrabi. Looks like the stalk down here is green, but that segment up to the crown is pretty bleached. That might be dead. This thing looks like it's alive, this scarlet kale here. I'm seeing good color through the stem, and on that basis, that's how I'm judging these. I'm seeing good color through the stem here, and so I think that crown there is going to keep producing growth. Probably similar with some of these here. So all this, anything bleached there is pretty dead, but if the stem has color, then I think it's alive and it's going to come back for me. So now lifting the domes up, that off. This Scotch Kale looks really good under the dome. These Scarlet Kales, that one's really dry, seems like maybe it's dead. This one, good color on these stems, so all this top growth probably pretty dead, but probably gonna get some recovery from the stem. Also, if it feels like that one feels pretty dry, this one feels like it's got that sort of that waxy feel of living tissue. So that one's probably good. This one might be dead. I'll take this last cover off here. So that looks like a very ready to go. I mean, I could probably harvest that, have a nice little salad. That one looks like a ready to go red Ursa or maybe a red Russian. And this Scotch Kale looks fine. There's a bit of a more bleached segment in the middle here, but I think that's actually healthy tissue. Some new growth sprouting along here. So that all looks good. Keep removing this plastic as we move along here. All this barricade plastic out. Get these sticks out of here. Okay. This section here, so these ones here were all mostly first year. But this section here was mostly second year kales, so I was really hoping these would do well. And down under the mulch, that looks like a healthy stem, so I think there's a healthy root system feeding a healthy stem there. As I come up into the branches at the top here, everything looks kind of dead. Now I think what will happen, maybe I'll do that today. I don't know if I'll do it today, but I think what I can do, I think I can just take cutting, like just cut everything and stick that in the soil and hope that any living tissue there will root. And so I can probably just generate a bunch of plants by taking cuttings from this one and letting the roots, the healthy roots and this healthy section of stem put on new growth. So I'm disappointed as I'm looking through here. This one looks probably pretty dead. Even though that's green, I think that's just, moss or algae or something growing on it. So I don't think that guy's alive. This lacinato here, he's looking pretty rough. And he was a great plant for me last year, and he's looking pretty rough. So anyway, lots of, basically I would just describe this as carnage. This is looking pretty bad to me. Here we've got this is a bronze fennel plant, and that's perennial and it's tough, and so I just need to wait for him to come back. Take these domes off. This guy has decided to start flowering already. Okay, these look like all just there's a little tight clump of kind of stunted dwarf plants because they were all so close together, but they're all alive. They were all alive under that dome there. The thing that looks like the thing that's gone to flower is a mustard. And under this dome, under there, that just all looks like carnage. Looks pretty bad. These leeks all look okay. There's like a row of back underneath all this dry stuff. This is all leeks in here, so that looks okay. That's not a leek, that's some kind of onion. Looks okay. That guy looks very healthy and good. That guy looks like top is looking bad, but stem will come back. Let's get this black plastic out of here. This was a very small section of black plastic, but it was near this loose opening, so in the hopes that a little bit of a heating effect would be created at the loosest point. But really, too small amount of black plastic probably to achieve much. And we really didn't get a lot of sun. Get rid of that. Take these domes off. Now it looks like anything with a big, long, exposed, extended stem did pretty badly. Looks like that takes a lot of damage being up in the freezing air. But anything down low really close to the mulch seems to have done much, much better. Right? These little short guys have all done really well. Come over here, take that dome off. We've got a couple onions coming up here. That's nice. Looks like catmint. These are all looking pretty beat up. I'm just gonna let them take their time as they come back. You know, let the plant shrug off the winter kill as it will. If the plant doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. But just get the dome off it so that they're exposed. Now there's a charred plant. It's alive. Didn't die. No rot in the crown. So that guy was under a dome. He did well, and he was right close here to the loose opening of the bed. Right close here to the least protected spot. So that chard did well. This kohlrabi feels very spongy, hollow, probably dead. Even though it's interesting because it's got that healthy top growth on there, but I don't think that plant is going to make it. This, we've got that variegated sage, same as the other one. This one does not look so dead. This one looks alive. So the extra dome helped him quite a bit, I think. That's very living, healthy stems coming up there. So at least I've got that one, even if I've lost that one. We'll look at this one for comparison here up close. Very, I mean, I don't know. If I look in here, it is growing. So maybe it's okay. I think it's a pretty hardy plant, so maybe it's okay. All right, so what else is in here? It's like a little spruce tree. Some more catmint, some more fennel. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what becomes of the plants in this bed. Let's move over to this one. Start up at the top here. Fold this back, get that brick out of there. Fold this back. This is the garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is just, it's perennial here. If I come over to my my ground bed, pull back the soil, I'm sure I'll find lots of garlic mustard in here. But anyway, let's not get distracted with that. So we've got garlic mustard coming up in the raised bed here, looking very healthy. This is a chocolate chip ajuga, and I'm sure that's alive. That's fairly hardy perennial, and it likes to send runners off the side. Oh, I broke it off. Oh well, that's fine. Just let that sit there. These big old trees of kale might not make it. I mean, there's really not that much to say about them. They look all pretty beat up. This is what they looked like last year this time, and some of them came back, some of them didn't. So yeah, there's not too much to say. Looks like some parsley coming up there. Onions. We'll take off some of these domes. These domes were covering, it looks like. Okay, so these are beets or chards. They did not have a cloche, and they were just right here by the side of the bed. Not very well protected, and they look pretty dead here in the crown. Maybe that one's okay. Take these cloches off. This parsley all looks pretty good. That chard looks pretty bad. That chard in there looks maybe alive. This one off. That was a chard and I think it's dead. That's a chard and I think it's maybe alive. It's hard to get a good view of the crown with all this mulch in the way. Coming over here, looks like, you know, again, more beets are charred, and it's kind of, this is a very small stunted plant. You can see how big my finger is there. This is, but it looks like it's probably got a living crown if it's got a leaf that's that green. So that might be alive. Now what I found is with these overwintered chards, something likes to eat these. If it's a raccoon, if it's a squirrel, I don't know what it is, but rabbit maybe, something likes to eat these. So these might disappear, even though they've survived. whichever of these have survived, something might be along to eat them very shortly if I leave this bed uncovered, which I plan to do for the next couple days. So we'll see how that develops. Let's continue to remove these domes. These are the Ford Hook Giant chard, I believe, and they look like they've survived. That one especially looks like it's in good condition. Under here, okay, so those would have been ornamental kales. They're looking very shriveled and not too happy. Under here, I know I have hostas. This is some kind of, what's the name of that herb? Is it Coreopterus or something like that? Caryopterus. That's looking pretty dry and dead, but maybe that's just what its life cycle is. Actually, as I dig in here, that's coming up green, so good. That one's coming back. These are lacinato kales that are looking pretty dried and shriveled. Bunch of, I keep repeating myself here, it's all very repetitive. Here's these heather plants. Those heather plants look okay. These heather shrubs, they look good. This sage here, this is non-variegated. This is just standard culinary sage. Looks like it's alive, so that's great. These cloches are making a terrible mess. God. Now these were looking very good earlier in the season. They're very dry and kind of feeling pretty bad right now, so I'm a little disappointed to see this. I expected these to look a lot better. Let's pull this plastic out of here. And these all look okay. They look all fairly green. Those look fairly poor. So I'm just going to leave this open and let the season get at it. Now I did, spoiler alert, I don't think this artichoke did too well. This was the very important artichoke in here. Let's pull this out. So that's looking like quite a badly damaged artichoke, if not dead. But it could be, well, seems pretty bad in there. Yeah, it seems pretty bad in there. So that guy might be dead. What else was in here? There's some blueberries in there. Those might be alive. Looks like they're alive. They got green stems. Really need to plant those. They've been kicking around for a while here. Got some thyme. Oh, looks like the thyme is all alive. I think these containers all have rhubarb in them, and I'm sure that's fine. So, disappointment on this artichoke. It just could not hack a full month of -10, even under sort of a couple layers of loose plastic and then a fairly well secured dome. So disappointed by that, but remains to be seen if it really is dead or if something else is going to come up from the root mass there. Pull some of this plastic out of the way. Need it. The Delphiniums that were mentioned, we've been following along with these Delphiniums. Those made it, so that's nice. That's an ornamental kale, and interestingly, again, you know, the top seems okay, but way down here at the base of the stem, this looks like a really dead stem. There is some growth coming from the nodes, but what I may have to do with this is if I take cuttings of this, those cuttings will probably root, but if I leave them attached to this stem, I think there's probably not much transport happening up that stem, and I think probably these tips will die, which is fine. I'll just replace these plants, put something new in here. I've got lots more on the way. This is what? This is a Scotch Kale. I think it's alive, and I think it's going to come back pretty strong. Looks like these scarlet kales are going to come back pretty strong, I would say. Looking through here, yeah, it just remains to be seen. It's really hard to say what kind of results these will produce. think this section, yeah, just really don't know what to say. Some onions in there, looking good. And I've not been able to get back in there all winter, and it'll have to be a little bit while longer before I can get back in there, but so we'll just leave this open, let it have the seasons. Okay, 20 minutes, that's a long video. Let's go over to this section. I'm not going to open this up. This, earlier in the season, there was a lot of green visible through this plastic. Now as I look through, it's all brown. Everything in there is brown. Probably need to get, if I can reach in here, it's fairly warm in there. Fairly warm in there, so I probably need to get this this plastic off of it. It's all been secured down, screwed down, so need to get that opened up, and I'm probably not going to do that today. Anyway, 21 minutes, long video, talked slow, repeated myself a lot, but there it is. The grand uncorking of the low tunnels. March 17th, 2021. See you in the next one.